Okay, so this PowerPoint looks at solving equations. Here are 4 different equations. We can recognise an equation as it has an equal sign, as highlighted here, and which are coming up in red. In an equation, we generally want to find out an unknown value. So from the 4 equations, we can actually identify or find a value that we need. So in the first one, it's acceleration. In the second equation, it's x. In the third one, it's a. And in the last one has no values whatsoever. However, we can still transpose the formula to find an unknown symbol. And in this instance, we want to find an unknown symbol, which is I. In any equation that we want to find out a value, it needs to be on its own on the left hand or right hand side of the equal sign. So to solve any equation, there are 2 techniques to learn: float and ping and escalator. The first method or technique we're going to use for solving equations is used for moving, addition or subtraction in an equation. And in this instance, we call this float and ping. So let's have a look at the first equation on the left hand side. I want to find the value of a. Now a needs to be on its own on the left hand side of the equation. So what we're going to do is that we're going to move the -2 from the left hand side of the equation over to the right hand side of the equation. So what we're going to do is we're going to float it over the equal sign, and as soon as it goes over the equal sign, it becomes a +2. Let's see how this works. So as you can see, the -2 floats over, and as soon as it goes over the equal sign, it pings to a +2. Therefore, a equals 20. If we look at the second formula on the right hand side, we want to find y. So to find out y, it needs to be on its own on the left hand side of the equal sign. So again, we're going to use the same technique, float and ping. The +6 is going to float over the equal sign, and as soon as it goes over the equal sign, it's going to become a -6. So let's have a see how this works. As you can see, the +6 floats over, and as soon as it goes over the equal sign, it pings over to a -6. Therefore, the answer is 16. The second method or technique we're going to use for solving equations is when we are using or moving division or multiplication values in an equation. So in this instance, we got 3x equals 15. Now as we can see, when you've got 2 values or a letter and a value together with no symbol between them, it represents it being multiplied together. So in this instance, we want to find x. So the 3 has to move from the left hand side of the equal sign over to the right, and we're going to use the escalator technique. So in this instance, it's going to move down the escalator and become a division. So let's have a see how this works. We want to find x. Goes down the escalator, and as you can see, the 3 moves down the escalator and becomes a division. So now it's 15 divided by 3, which gives us 5. If we look at the next formula, we have 30 equals y divided by 2. So in this instance, we want to find out y. But now the 2, which is a division on the right hand side of the equal sign, has to move over to the left hand side. And when it becomes a division, we use the escalator technique. This time it's going to go up the escalator. So let's have a see at how this works. The 2 moves up the escalator, and now it's 2 times 30 which gives us 60. Okay, now we're going to use the escalator technique to work out the following formula. Now, as you can see, there are no values in this one, but we can still solve an equation or transpose the formula firstly to then use it for a value we need. So let's have a look at this one. This one we want to find out I. So, because we've got two letters together on the right hand side of the equal sign, it means it's a multiplication. So to move it to the left hand side of the equal sign, we need to go down the escalator, which is what we're going to do now. So the R will now move down the escalator, and when it goes to the left hand side of the equal sign, it becomes a division. We can now use this formula for the following question. If the voltage of 200 is going through a resistor of 10 ohms, what is the current? So, in this instance, 200 divided by 10 ohms will give us a value of 20 amps.